What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to my second video, and I'm super excited. So this video is primarily about me coming out of the closet. In my previous video, I mentioned I'm 27 years old. I've been out of the closet for about 11, 12 years. So when people talk about coming out in 2020, it's a little bit different than how it was coming out. And I think I came out end of 2008 or early 2009. So it was a very different time. Gay marriage wasn't legal yet. It was still a big thing. Protests still going on that it's all about a man and a wife. And it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. So that was the mentality of what really came when I came out. And I necessarily didn't come out. I got outed in all aspects of my life. So pretty much starting from the beginning, I went to school in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. The high school was Bridgewater Raynham Regional High School. I struggled a little bit while I was there, mainly because it was a predominantly white school. And being from the region of Boston that I was from, it was different when I moved and went to a predominantly white school because I was used to being around other people of ethnicity. So I struggled a little bit about that, and trying to fit in and trying to find what connects me. Going from Boston, the city, to the suburbs of Bridgewater, it's a huge culture shock, huge difference. So, there was a lot of things people didn't really understand, nuances. There were a lot of things that I wasn't quite sure about myself and whatnot. So I came out in the 11th grade. And it was a very difficult time. Like I said, it was about 2008, 2009. And so there was this stigma that it was wrong. So pretty much how it happened was I was at a birthday party, at one of my friend's birthday party, and she invited her friends, obviously. And one of them ended up being her ex, and we were just talking the whole time. We started wrestling and flirting and whatnot. And this was at a time where I wasn't even quite sure about my sexuality. So this was all happening and whatnot. I'm just like, okay, what's going on? Kind of confused. And he would say, hey, can I get your number? I'm like, yeah, sure. We exchanged numbers and we kept in contact from there. We kept texting, and then it was like, hey, we should probably hang out and everything. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? We hung out more and more, and then I realized that I had feelings for him. Eventually, we started dating. He was very proud of himself. I'm not necessarily saying that he was out, because my friend who was his ex-girlfriend didn't know that he was gay. But he was out at his workplace. He showed a photo to his coworker. He was like, oh yeah, I'm in a relationship and this is the guy. And obviously he showed a photo of myself. That guy ended up being a student at the high school that I was at, and it just spread like wildfire. My best friend at the school called me. He was like, hey, I just want to let you know that this is happening. I'm trying to protect you, but I'm not quite sure if I can keep this quiet because it is spreading around the school. My best friend in high school, he didn't know about me. No one knew about me. I didn't even know about myself. This was all very new to me, so I'm just like, oh my God, what's going on? And my best friend, he was very cool about it, mainly because he has two moms, so he grew up with it. He told me this, and I was just super nervous, and I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And the next day at school, everyone just pointing and laughing, and I was known as the black gay kid. So that popularity became, hey, do you know that that kid Daquan or that kid Day? They were like, oh, the black gay kid. And so that was what I was known for, the black gay kid. people would kind of taunt me and tease me and everything until eventually I just stood my ground and I'm just like, this is me. you like it or not. Didn't say such words. I was in high school, so might have been a bit more aggressive. But, um, but yeah. And so high school started getting a little bit better for me, and I felt more comfortable in my skin. I did end up breaking up with said guy who outed me, but mainly because I was super, super nervous and I was afraid and I trusted him and that trust was broken. Then, possibly like a month later, some way, somehow, it followed me home. So I wasn't even ready to come out at home, and then it followed me home. So at the time, I was on a couple of social media websites that was called like Spin the Bottle or something like that. And that's how you can meet other people your age and whatnot. And one of my mom's friends, who happens to be gay, was on one of these apps, and he told my mom about it. So my mom had invited me into her room. There was her and my stepfather, and she was just like, I'm aware you're on an app that's saying that you're a man seeking other men. And it just came as a shock because I'm like, oh no, I'm not ready to come out. This isn't happening. So, like any gay I did, it was like, I am bisexual. So I came out as bisexual before I actually came out as gay. And the response that I got was, okay, I love you, but I don't condone it. And my stepfather absolutely was amazing and he accepted it right away. I no way think that this is easy on any parent. I may not have received the reaction that I did, that I was wanting, but whew, but it did happen, and it has made me the person who I am today, and it has made the relationship that I have with my mother today, and my mom and I are best friends now. But at the beginning, it was not easy for her. I've spoken with her about it, and she said that she saw the troubles and circumstances that her gay friends were going through, and it wasn't something she wanted for her son. She wanted to protect me and knew that I would have a hard time finding love, and I was already black, and now I'm coming out as gay, so I had a double standard, and not just the suburbs where I was living, but also in the black community, as it was also a little bit taboo back then. But going back to my mom, we fought about it a lot, to the point that one day she had picked me up from school because I tried to create a dance team at my school, but it didn't go through. So I ended up joining the cheerleading squad. My mom picked me up and we got into a huge argument, and I got out the car and she said, you're no longer my son, bye. Obviously, that was very intense at that moment. And I didn't know what to do. I had just come from school. I had nothing with me. And I called my phone was almost dead. I called my friend and he didn't answer because he was at dinner with his mom's, which I didn't know, but he just didn't answer. And I'm calling people asking if I could stay, and no one was answering. And eventually my phone did die. And I just did not know what to do. So that evening, I actually slept at the train station. It was a cold night, so I was freezing, shivering, and I slept outside. And the very next morning when the train arrived, because since we were in the suburbs, the train only departed about 3 or 4 times into Boston. I took the train into the city, into Boston, and I went to my old school to pretty much visit friends, and I was going to stay at a friend's house. And due to circumstances, I ended up in a situation where I had to contact someone, and I called my stepfather and I was just like, I need your help. And he immediately like stopped everything. My mom was actually the person that picked me up. So in the midst of 24 hours, my mom had picked me up and she had apologized. It was like, I'm so sorry. Oh, she had immediately apologized and everything was like, you are my son. I don't want this ever to happen again. And our friendship grew to the max after that. And that has grown to us to who we are today. I call my mom all the time. Anytime I'm just like, oh, I like this guy or something. And she's the best advice giver ever. So yeah, so now everything at home and at school kind of came together where I was out at school and no one really cared anymore, and I was out at home and my relationship with both my mom and my stepfather were great. It had been the best that it had ever been, mainly because being in a closet, you kind of feel trapped and you're living a lie every day, so you kind of hide everything about yourself. And I didn't feel I could be 100% open and honest with them, so I wasn't being honest with myself, so I didn't even love myself, so I couldn't really figure out how to have that relationship with my parents at the time. But everything came full circle and it turned out to be good. It even got to the point where I took my high school sweetheart to prom and we wore opposite suits. So I wore a white tuxedo with like black while he wore a black tuxedo with white. And so I ended up taking him and it was just a great night. Except for the part that we probably broke up at the end of the night. But that doesn't matter. But it was still a great night because I was able to take a guy to prom at my school in the midst of a year or so. When I did end up buying a prom ticket, she was like, yeah, so who's your date? And I was like, Kenny. And she was like, I'm sorry? And I was like, Kenny. And then I told her his last name and she was like, okay, and wrote it down. You could tell she was confused and everything, but still was able to take him. No one really cared. And it was just an amazing night. So things got better. So when people do say it does get better, it does. I'm not gonna say it does for everyone because some people do get disowned still, even though it's 2020 and it's a lot easier to come out. A lot of people are still afraid and they don't have the love and support that I ended up getting at the end of the day. My grandmother, even to this day, she knows 100%. She doesn't really say anything about it. My grandfather knows, he doesn't say anything about it. No one really cares. Everyone loves me and I'm still grandma's favorite. But yeah, so things worked out really. So yeah, I was also thinking I could possibly do like how I came out to my church and everything, but I'm not really sure if people are really into that. If you really want to see that video, let me know in the comments down below or hit me up on social media and let me know if you would really like to see that video. Otherwise, peace out. Hey guys, so after recording this video, I've actually found some photos from my prom, so I'm gonna put them right here for you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Talk to you guys soon. Bye!